بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. درس الفقه شرائع الإسلام. And we reached the conclusion of the chapter on Salat, and it says خاتمة. خاتمة means conclusion. فيما يتعلق بالمساجد, what is related to the rulings on masajid. يستحب, it is mustahab, desirable and recommended. اتخاذ المساجد مكشوفة غير مسقفة. مكشوف is exposed, and غير مسقفة is uncovered. There is no saqf. There is no covering for it. Now some scholars, they debate this. They say in other books, when they come to this sentence, they say it can't be for all masajid because some of them are in a very cold areas. Some of them are in very hot areas. So in the winter, in the summer, you have to protect the people because if it's raining, snowing, or sunny, too much heat, then people cannot pray there. So this could be only for mild areas, specific countries, specific geographic areas where the weather is not harsh. The weather is not harsh. وَأَن تَكُونَ, or part of it. Others, they say part of it should be open, like Masjid Quba. I've seen this Masjid Quba. The front part is covered, the middle and the back part is open. So part of it could be covered and the other part uncovered. وَأَن
What's the reasoning behind it? What's the philosophy behind having it open?
They say it to be exposed to the sky. So when people raise their head, there is no limit. There is nothing, no barrier between them and the sky. It's like Masjid al-Haram. You can look at the stars, you can look at, for dua purpose, under the open, not somewhere. And therefore, even certain prayers, it is mustahab that you do them in the open, like Salatul Eid or Salatul Istisqa, asking for rain. You may go to the desert or, outside the city, so it's open space. وَأَن تَكُونَ الْمِيضَاتِ. Al-Midat comes from wudu, the place where people do their wudu, restrooms, things like that, and the toilets, of course. على أبوابها. Once you enter the place at the entrance, so it's not inside, so it's somehow outside, very near the entrance, to prevent the smell, to prevent the, whatever, to reach inside the masjid. So they do the bathroom not inside, but at the entrance of the masjid. So as soon as someone enters from the main gate, let's say on the right, on the left, and then the masjid is there. على أبوابها. وأن تكون المنارة, the minaret, مع حائطها لا في وسطها, which is built in the wall, not in the middle of the mosque, but built in the wall of the masjid. Exactly like the minarets of Masjid al-Haram. The minarets of Masjid, if you have seen them, they are on the corners. They are not in the middle. So they are at the corners of the masjid. وأن يقدم الداخل إليها رجله اليمنى والخارج رجله اليسرى. It's mustahab when someone enters the masjid that he begins entering with his right foot, and when he leaves, at the time of the leaving, he leaves. Have you seen the masjid sometimes, the old ones, the new ones they don't have? It has like a barrier this high. So you step in and you step out. So when you want to go, you step in the masjid. They put a barrier. I've seen this in Turkey. in the masajid a lot. Nowadays, because of the danger, because of the hazardous, they remove them, but it used to have a barrier. Okay? So you enter with your right foot, and when you leave it with your left one. And وأن يتعاهد نعليه, to make sure that his shoes or sandals are not najis. So he checks them before he goes inside the masjid. وأن يدعو عند دخوله وعند خروجه. There is specific dua when you go inside the masjid, and it is narrated by Lady Fatima alayha salam from her father Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أنه كان يقول حين دخول المسجد وحين خروجه منه. Once he entered the mosque and when he left, اللهم اغفر لي ذنوبي وافتح لي أبواب فضلك. Oh God, forgives me my sins and open for me your gates of blessings and generosity. This is the dua. ويجوز نقض ما استهدم. This is in the English version that you have. What does it say? ويجوز نقض ما استهدم.
It is permissible to annul what he destroyed in itself?
Yeah, this is not an accurate translation. It is okay, يجوز, permissible, to demolish the part that had already been in ruin, or about to be demolished, or very old. Okay? So the part in the masjid, the section, the wall, the section that is about to fall down, you may demolish it. You can demolish it. يجوز. دون غيره, but not other parts that are okay. Are you with me?
Yes.
So the parts that are about to fall down and they are vulnerable and, shaky, then you may demolish them. But the parts that are safe and okay, it's not permissible for us to demolish it. ويجوز استعمال آلته. The آلة here means the construction materials or the tools that you use it. For this masjid, you can use it for another masjid too. ويستحب كنس المسجد والإسراج فيه. It is also recommended that someone sweeps the masjid and والإسراج. See, the إسراج is not saddle. إسراج here is to lit the light. Keep the light on. At that time it was siraj. Siraj. The light was siraj. Have you seen it in the old movies? So you lit the light so people can, especially in the evening, they can see when they come inside the masjid. Now the things that are forbidden and we are not allowed to do in the masjid, وَيُحْرَمُ, haram. زُخْرُفَتُهَا. Zukhruf, the simple meaning of zukhruf is ornamentation, decoration. But here they say not any ornamentation. Ornamentation with gold. Engraving with gold. This is haram to do in the masjid. وَنَقْشُهَا بِالصُّوَرِ. And also haram to put paintings inside the masjid. Okay? Especially they say the paintings of those who possess soul. Sometimes painting of tree does not possess soul. Neither animal soul nor a human soul. But those who have soul, angel for instance, or a human being, or animals, these have souls. So it is haram to do that in the masjid. Keep the masjid simple and modest, not a museum. Why? Because people have to focus here. If it is supposed to be a museum, you are putting paintings and pictures and drawings, then people are not going to. So it's unlike the churches. Unlike the churches, we have to keep it simple.
So the part about the zukhruf, the gold, the ornamentation, the gold, then how do they justify the amount Haram's masjid?
Some people say it's a problem.
Oh.
But that one is not masjid. It's a grave site. So it's not built to be masjid inside, masjid outside, but not the mausoleum itself. They don't pray there. They don't pray jama'ah there in the mausoleum. The prayers has to be outside. Beside, some people say this is exaggeration here. Yeah, it is good to keep it beautiful, attractive, but this is one of the points of contention between scholars. Some people say too much. Keep it simple. Don't exaggerate in putting these ornaments. Don't do that. So some people are against that. Not everybody agrees on this point. Okay? وَبَيْعُ آلَتِهَا, and it is haram to sell the tools of the masjid, tools using in maintaining the masjid, building it, cleaning it, the furniture, let's say, furniture that is in the masjid, it's haram that you sell it. Okay? وَأَنْ يُؤْخَذَ مِنْهَا فِي الطُّرُقِ, it is also haram, forbidden, to cut parts of the masjid and make it a road. Okay? Or to make it another property. Let's say some people want to make a shop. Part of the masjid, which is dedicated to be a masjid, now they want to make part of it, let's say, a shop or a restaurant or a residence, let's say. This is also haram. وَمَنْ أَخَذَ مِنْهَا شَيْئًا, if something of this land, the land of the masjid, is taken, وَجَبَ أَنْ يُعِيدُهُ إِلَيْهَا, he must return it back to the masjid, أو إلى مسجد آخر, or give it to another masjid. Sometimes these items are removable. He took it from the masjid and now he goes, the masjid, he cannot take it back to this specific masjid, let's say. So he gives it to another masjid. Okay? وَإِذَا زَالَتْ آثَارُ الْمَسْجِدِ, let's say the mosque has been demolished by nature, let's say. Okay? Let's say an earthquake comes and destroys the masjid completely. لَمْ يَحِلْ تَمَلُّكُهُ, no one has the right to go and build a house there, property, or make it his own personal property. And then the things that are not allowed also in the masjid, لا يجوز إدخال النجاسة إليها, things that are najis by nature. Let's say blood, or urine, or feces, or whatever. These things should not be brought inside the masjid. Or let's say khanzir, swine, or pigs. They should not be allowed inside the masjid. Or khamr, for instance. وَلَا إِزَالَةِ النَّجَاسَةِ فِيهَا. This is again, he made a mistake, the translator there. It means if something, an object is najis, they should not bring it and purify it inside the masjid, to wash it inside the masjid. Okay? A dress which is najis, there is a blood on it. He should wash it outside the masjid, not inside the masjid. وَلَا إِخْرَاجُ الْحَصَى مِنْهَا. Hasa is pebbles. Sometimes in certain masajid, they furnish them with pebbles. So you are not allowed to take the pebbles out with you from the masjid. وَإِنْ فَعَلْ, if he does that, أَعَادَهُ إِلَيْهَا, it should be returned to the masjid. وَيُكْرَهُ, it is makruh, not haram. We come to the makruh now, and recommended for the masjid. وَيُكْرَهُ تَعْلِيَتُهَا. Ta'liyah means you make the walls of the masjid too high. The walls of the masjid. It's makruh to make the walls too high. وَأَنْ يُعْمَلَ لَهَا شُرُفٌ, Again, shuruf in that book says balconies. It's not balconies. Shuruf, it means a window, opening the window in the masjid. Okay? Make an opening in the walls of the masjid. This is the meaning of shuruf. أو محاريب داخلة في الحائط. It is also makruh to build sanctuaries that built in the wall that prevents the imam stands there and people can't see him from both sides. People who stand in the first line, he's hiding. He's hiding in a sanctuary. Okay? The first one who did this was Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan for the fear of, assassination. So he separated himself. He made a sanctuary inside the masjid for him, separating himself from the rest, so they don't assassinate him when he comes to the prayers. This is also makruh. Okay? وَأَن تُجْعَلَ طَرِيقًا. It is also makruh that you make the masjid as a road, meaning you come from one door to make a shortcut. Come from one door and leave it from the other without staying. I've seen this in Medina. People do this in Medina. Rather than taking a circle, his hotel is here, he's coming from there. So rather than going this way or that way, he comes from this door and he exits from the other. He's making it a passageway. This is also makruh because it does not befit the sanctity of the masjid. ويستحب أن يتجنب. It's mustahab to avoid البيع والشراء inside the masjid. Outside it's okay, but inside the masjid selling or purchasing, it should be mustahab, to be avoided. وتمكين المجانين, giving access to the insane, giving them freedom and welcoming them, temkeen, and giving them, what they like to do, giving them accessibility to the insane. Okay?
What do you mean by the insane here, Sayyid? Is it somebody that's maybe like not, let's say somebody that's mentally
challenged. Yeah.
So it does mean those people? Oh.
Because they create chaos. They come there and what they do.
So what's the requirement then, is to confine them? Is that the...
Not to give them access inside the masjid. Maybe keep them in a room, outside, something. Keep them busy with something. Don't, because it's a place either of education, khutbah, learning, or praying. So you have to maintain the silence, the neatness, the atmosphere. If someone comes and he wants to scream and he will disturb, and defeats the purpose. Yeah. So not allowing them. وَإِنْفَاذُ الْأَحْكَامِ. Someone was saying, if I apply this rule, don't allow 90% of people who come to the masjid, they should be banned. وَإِنْفَاذُ الْأَحْكَامِ. Also, it is better, or it is mustahab, recommended, to avoid executing sentences inside the masjid. وَتَعْرِيفُ الضَّوَالِ. تعريف الضوال, if someone loses something, then they should not come inside the masjid and look for that or scream, oh, who lost this, who lost that. They may do it outside, not inside the masjid, because this creates disturbance. Okay? وإقامة الحدود, carrying out hudud. Hudud, specific time of punishment, which is the penal code, which is the capital punishments. It's makruh to be done inside the masjid. وإنشاد الشعر, reciting poetry inside the masjid, is also not mustahab. It's better to avoid reciting poetry inside the masjid. وَرَفْعُ الصَّوْتِ, when they speak, raising their voice. Also, it is better to be avoided. وعمل الصنائع, any type of manufacturing, whether handicraft, whether any type of manufacturing, صنائع, it's better not to be done inside the masjid. And last but not least, where all Muslims, alhamdulillah, they practice this in Mecca, Medina, in all Muslim countries, والنوم, sleeping. This is, I've seen in Masjid al-Nabi, you know, before the prayers, after the prayers, mashallah. During Hajj, Umrah, they, you know, they sleep. وَيُكْرَهُ, it is also unrecommended. دخول من في فيه رائحة بصل أو ثوم. It's also unrecommended for someone who smells in his mouth, he smells garlic or onion, to come to the masjid. I've seen this again. Yeah, immediately after eating, you know, onion, he goes to the masjid. والتنخم, تنخم, expectorating. This is this voice. This is tanakhum. Preparing to spit. Preparing his throat and his nose to spit. والبصاق, spitting, the actual spitting. It is makruh inside the masjid. Okay? وَقَتْلُ الْقُمَّلِ, killing the lices. Nowadays we don't see this, but in the past they used to search for the lice in his body, in someone else's hair, and they kill it, you know. This is also فَإِنْ فَعَلْ, if he does one of these things, spitting or killing the lice, سَتَرَهُ, he would bury it with the dirt inside the masjid. Does not make it exposed. For instance, he had to spit, then he has to clean it, so bury it with the dirt. Okay? وَكَشْفُ الْعَوْرَةِ, exposing his private parts. Now, exposing private parts, not only in the masjid, anywhere is haram. But if the masjid is empty, let's say the masjid is empty, no one is there, the mu'adhin alone is there, or the imam, he comes before the, or after, then it is makruh to expose, to be naked inside the masjid, even if there is no onlooker. But if there are people, definitely anywhere it's haram, not just in the masjid. وَالرَّمْيُ بِالْحَصَى, in the past, some silly people used to, you know, joke or tease each other by throwing pebbles of the masjid on each other. This is also makruh to do inside the masjid. They have to find another games to play and keep themselves busy. مسائل ثلاث, 3 subsidiary questions. Question number 1. إذا انهدمت الكنائس والبيع, if churches has been demolished and synagogues, بيع, synagogues, بيعة is singular and بيع is plural. كنيسة is singular, كنائس is plural. So these places of worship of the people of book, the Christians and the Jews, if let's say because of the, you know, nature, because of rain, because of winds, nobody is going there anymore, it has been abandoned, by the time it's demolished, let's say. فَإِنْ كَانَ لِأَهْلِهَا ذِمَّةٌ, if people are still there, people of the book, who are under the protection of the Islamic government. Again, that translation is not accurate. Dhimma means when someone, dhimmi, ahlu dhimma, it means those minorities, Jews and Christians, who live under the Islamic government. So they have some sort of immunity and a protection. They are granted protection because they live under the Islamic rule. So if there is some people like that still there, لم يجوز التعرض لها, you should stay away from these churches and synagogues.
Meaning not to inhabit them.
Not just inhabit, don't even go inside them. Stay away from that. If you are a Muslim, because this is none of your business, still Although they are demolished, but there are people living around them, they know what to do with them. We don't go and acquire them or occupy them or even enter them. No trespassing. Okay? وَإِنْ كانت, again this translation is not right, battlefield. وَإِنْ كانت في أرض الحرب. It means if it was in a land which is not under the Islamic rule. Okay? It's the land of non-Islamic ruling. Okay? أو باد أهلها. People there, they are perished. No more Christian, not even a single family, not even a single individual. No more Jews, no more Christians, no more, none of them. Either they left or they died or, something happened to them. So, no community exists, not even a single person. جاز استعمالها في المساجد. You can use these temples, the churches and synagogues as mosques. If there is no more inhabitants. But if there is inhabitants, then you can't use that. Okay? الثانية, the second مسألة. الصلاة المكتوبة, which is mandatory. مكتوبة means mandatory. مكتوب. Okay? في المسجد أفضل من المنزل. To be done in the masjid is better than doing it, being done at home. والنافلة بالعكس. Otherwise. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أفضل صلاة المرء في بيته إلا المكتوبة. The best prayers of a person is the one that has been done at home except the 5 daily prayers. 5 daily prayers, do them in the masjid. In jama'ah, of course. This is what is recommended. In jama'ah, or even if you are not jama'ah, you came and jama'ah is over, has finished, then do it in the masjid. Because it has a social aspect. While nafila, it has a personal aspect. So do it in a privacy. Do it when in your room, because I said earlier the prayers has 2 dimensions, one social and one private. Islam divided them into 2 sections. Neither completely private and staying away from people, nor all of them are in public. So he divided. He said the inscribed one, the maktuba, has to be in public because it carries some social aspect. You go, you shake hand, you ask, you socialize. But the nafila has more dedicational aspect, more sincerity. Therefore, even you may take longer in performing them, longer in the ruku', longer in the sujood. But while you are doing in public, do what the rest are doing, So, that one, والنافلة بالعكس. الثالثة, الصلاة في الجامع ب100. Jami' is the central mosque of the city, where they do Salatul Jumu'ah. This is why it's called Jami', not Masjid. We have Masjid and we have Jami'. Jami' is the bigger masjid, is the central masjid, is where people gather for Friday prayers. This is called Jami', the place of gathering. So in that place, it is equal to 100 salat. Each salat you do in the mosque. وفي مسجد القبيلة ب25. But in the masjid that belongs to the community, your neighborhood, قبيلة, equals to 20. This is not central mosque. This is the community mosque. Okay? Equals 25 prayers. And in the marketplace, meaning the mosque in the marketplace. Because the marketplace, each market has a masjid there. That one equals a 12. Okay? الفصل الرابع في صلاة الخوف والمطاردة. We have 2 types of prayers. One of them, the prayers of fear, fearing the enemy. You are in the battlefield, or you expect an attack. You are on a standby. Okay? On a standby, any minute the enemy could attack or invade. This is Salatul Fear. Mutarada is when you chase the enemy. There is a difference between them. Let's take the first one. Salatul khawf maqsuratun safaran wa fil hadari idha sulliyat jama'a. The prayers of fear in traveling, definitely it's a broken. So the 4 rak'ah becomes 2. Even when you are in town, even if you are in town, you do the 4 rak'ah 2 if you are praying it jama'ah, not furada. So dhuhr becomes 2, even when you are in town. Asr becomes 2 and Isha becomes 2 rak'ah. فَإِن صُلِّيَتْ فُرَادًا, there are 2 opinions. If you do that in a state of fear, if you do it furada by yourself, there are 2 opinions. One opinion says still you do 2, you break it, even if you are not with jama'ah. The other opinion says no, it's you offer it 4. But our author, he says the first opinion is better in my view, that even if you are doing it furada, then you break it. You do broken prayers, qasr. وَإِذَا صُلِّيَتْ جَمَاعَةً فَالْإِمَامُ بِالْخَيَارِ. If it is done with jama'ah, then the imam has an option. What is the option? His option is إِنْ شَاءَ صَلَّى بِطَائِفَةٍ ثُمَّ بِأُخْرَى. He does one salat. He does the salat twice. One with first group while the second group are watching, carrying their weapons, guarding. And then he does the second salat while the first group who did the salat, they go to their posts, and the second group, they come and do the salat with him. وَكَانَتِ الثَّانِيَةُ لَهُ نَدْبًا. So he cannot do two niyyah of wajib because he did 2 prayers. So the first one will do it, him, the imam, as wajib, the second one as mustahab. Okay? على القول بجواز اقتداء المفترض بالمنتفل. There is an opinion. Sunnis, they say, if an imam is doing nafila, the ma'moom can stand behind him and do his fariḍah, while the imam is doing nafila, not fariḍah. But not all Shia agree with this. Some of them agree, some of them disagree. Some of them say, yes, it's okay. The imam is doing nafila, the ma'moom stands behind him and he does fariḍah. Others, they say, no, the imam is doing nafila. The ma'moom cannot do fariḍah. Okay? So, وَإِنْ شَاءَ يُصَلِّي كَمَا صَلَّى رَسُولُ اللَّهِ بِذَاتِ الرِّقَاعِ. We will come to the way the Prophet performed Salatul Khawf in the battle of Dhatul Riqa'. One of the battles are called, nicknamed Dhatul Riqa'. We will see how the Prophet did the Salat. We will come to it soon. Okay? ثم يحتاج هذه الصلاة إلى النظر في شروطها. Let's look into the conditions of these prayers. What does constitute the fear prayers? وكيفيتها, the method of these prayers. وأحكامها, and the rules pertaining to this specific prayers. أما الشروط, as to the conditions, فأن يكون الخصم في غير جهة القبلة. If في غير جهة القبلة فأن يكون الخصم في غير جهة القبلة. The condition for this prayers is that we are standing, this is the Qibla. This is the Qibla. But the enemy, we expect the enemy coming from this side or that side. In this case, we do the fear prayers. But if the enemy is in this direction, this is the Qibla, then this salat is not Salatul Khawf anymore. Because you can watch him, you can see them, and you can break your prayers anytime. When you see them coming, that's it. Carry your weapon and start the fighting, defending yourself. But if the Qibla is this way and we're expecting them coming from that direction, then in that case we have to do Salatul Khawf. which we break it. We break the 4 into 2 and we make it fast. Okay? Because we don't have time. Time is, you have few seconds. You can't spend your time in prayers. So in case the enemy is not in the direction, not coming from the direction of the Qibla. Okay? وأن يكون, or the enemy فيه قوة لا يؤمن أن يهجم على المسلمين. He has a considerable force and he can attack any minute. But if we know the enemy is relaxing now, sleeping, drinking, having good time, they are not attacking now, then you don't do Salatul Khawf. Or we are 100 and they are 20. They can't overcome us. So we don't do Salatul Khawf because we are not in the state of fear. Okay? وأن يكون في المسلمين كثرة يمكن أن يفترقوا طائفتين تكفل كل طائفة بمقاومة الخصم. And the number of the Muslims has to be a good number that if one of them stands for the prayers, the other one has a good number that can defend in case they are attacked. But if their number is a few, then they should not do this. They should be careful. If the number is a few and they are not divided into 2, then they cannot do Salatul Khawf.
What do they do then? That's what happened on the day of Ashura, right? They weren't really formally doing Salat al-Khawf, were they?
Imam Hussein, I don't think, no, he did regular prayers. Because the other sides were praying too.
Oh.
Yeah. The other side, Umar ibn Sa'd was leading the prayers.
Oh.
Imam Hussein was leading here and he was leading there.
Okay.
Yeah. So if the Muslims, they can be divided into 2 groups and each group by itself is capable of defending them, then they do Salatul Khawf. Otherwise, they don't. وأن لا يحتاج الإمام إلى تفريقهم أكثر من فرقتين. And also the Imam does not have to divide them more than 2 groups. Okay? Not 3 groups, 2 groups. One group prays, the other defends. And this is mentioned in the Quran, of course. The details of it mentioned. وأما كيفيتها. How to do that, the method. فإن كانت الصلاة ثنائية, if the prayers, which is definitely is going to be 2, because morning is 2. In this case, if fears apply to it, then Dhuhr, Asr, and Isha is going to be 2. Only Maghrib is going to be 3. So in this case, he does 1 rak'ah with 1 group. They line behind him. The second group are on the watch, standing, watching. So he does 1 rak'ah. And they pray behind him the first rak'ah. Then he prolongs his prayers. This first group go and does the second rak'ah by themselves. The first rak'ah behind the Imam. The second one, they change the niyyah into furada. And they finish, they leave, they carry their weapon and they go. The second group who are carrying the weapon, they come, they follow the Imam in the second rak'ah. But the Imam has to be super slow here. So they follow the Imam in the second rak'ah. For him it is second rak'ah, but for them, for the second group, it's first rak'ah. So he slow it while he was sitting. He does not do tashahhud and salam. He waits for them until they reach him. In tashahhud and salam, they do that together. And they exit from the prayers. So both they're going to get the thawab of the jama'ah. The first group and the second group. The first group did jama'ah in the first rak'ah with the Imam. And they did the second rak'ah by themselves. The second group, they did their first rak'ah in the second rak'ah of the Imam. And they did their second rak'ah just by themselves. But they concluded their prayers with the Imam. The first group, they started the prayers with the Imam. The second, they concluded it with the Imam. This is how the Prophet did it. فإن كانت الصلاة ثنائية صلى بالأولى ركعة وقام إلى الثانية فينوي من خلفه الانفراد واجبا فينوي من خلفه. Those who stand behind him, they do their second rak'ah منفرد, singular, واجبا. ويتمون ثم يستقبلون العدو. Then they conclude their prayers and then they go and face the enemy. وتأتي الفرقة الأخرى. The second group, they come فيحرمون, they do تكبيرة الإحرام ويدخلون معه في ثانيته وهي أولاهم. When they enter in the prayers, for them it is first rak'ah, but for the imam it's his second rak'ah. فإذا جلس للتشهد أطال. When he sits in the second rak'ah for tashahhud, he prolongs his tashahhud until the second group نهض من خلفه فأتموا وجلسوا. They go for their second rak'ah and then they finish, they sit. Once they sit, they do tashahhud and salam behind the imam. Now, why do we call it the fear prayers? Because it has three fundamental differences with the regular prayers. Number one, فتحصل المخالفة في ثلاثة أشياء. انفرد المؤتم. And these things do not happen in the regular prayers. Number one, the ma'mum did his second rak'ah while he's standing behind the imam, but he did it furada. And that does not happen in the regular jama'ah prayers. You have to finish your prayers. We read that لا يجوز. It's not permissible to leave the jama'ah if you have no reason. But if there is reason, emergency, you may leave. But once you begin the jama'ah, you have to finish if there is no reason. Okay? So this is one. وَتَوَقُّعُ الْإِمَامِ لِلْمَأْمُومِ حَتَّى يُتِمْ. The imam is sitting and waiting for them to catch him in tashahhud. This is also does not happen in the regular prayers because they do things together, simultaneously. The third, وَإِمَامَةُ الْقَاعِدِ بِالْقَائِمِ. We said one of the things that someone cannot be imam is if he's sitting while the mu'mineen are standing. That can't happen. Okay? But in this case, it's okay. Because he's still sitting waiting for them to catch him in the tashahhud. While he's sitting, they are doing the prayers behind him. They are doing their second rak'ah. And he's still their imam. He's still their imam while he's sitting. So these are three differences with the regular prayers. وَإِن كَانَتْ ثُلَاثِيَّةً. If the prayers is maghrib, 3 rak'ah, فَهُوَ بِالْخَيَارِ. Imam has the option. إِن سَاءَ صَلَّى بِالْأُولَى رَكْعَةً. He can do with the first group 1 rak'ah, with the second group 2 rak'ahs. Or the opposite. He can do 2 rak'ah with the first group and 1 rak'ah with the second group. ويجوز أن تكون كل فرقة واحدا. Now the group does not necessarily to be many people. There are 3 fighters standing at a post defending this alleyway, let's say. 3 guards carrying their weapon, anticipating an enemy, and now the time of the prayers comes. So the imam is 1 and each firqa is 1. The number of the firqa is not 10,000 or 5. It's 1 person. So he does 1 rak'ah with 1 of them and then the second rak'ah with another 1. So both of them they do the jama'ah. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه.